What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are with Leanne.
Hi!
Founder of Beyond the... I was like thinking Beyond the Table. Cool, that was a warm-up.
Okay, good.
You're now with Leanne.
Hi!
Founder of Beyond the Label podcast. One more time. Watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are with Leanne.
Hi!
That was such a weird way to say her name. Kinetic Outcome, and we are now with Leanne.
Hi!
Founder of Blue. Let me repeat that, beautiful Leanne. Founder of Blue. Blue Label Pod.
I can say it actually.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are now with the beautiful Leanne.
Hi!
Founder of Beyond the Label podcast. And since she loves blue, it's called the Blue Journal. And also, aside from that, events as well. So she'll be elaborating more, Le Lumiere events. Leanne, just a quick intro on the podcast side and what you do on the event side.
So basically, I founded my own company called Le Lumiere Events 5 years ago. We specialize in customized event planning, everything including weddings, birthday parties, engagement, basically any extravaganza you can think of. And then afterwards, around the end of last year, I started my own podcast called Beyond the Label. We interview people around every 2 weeks to feature people who do different things, unconventional things. And other than that, it's under the Blue Journal, which is a platform and blog on self-care.
Okay, well, all the information in the description box.
Yes.
But to move forward on the introduction, I'd like to know more on starting where you were born to growing up to how did you get here, and you mentioned earlier about college as well. So
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm from here. Born in Hong Kong. Studied here my whole life, and for university I went to Paris in France. And so a lot of people would ask me, oh, do you study French? Do you study fashion? No, I studied business. And before I got into any of my business classes, I actually dropped out of college after the first around 4 months. And then afterwards I came back to Hong Kong and started my own business. Prior to that, I also had a lot of event experiences with like internships when I was in high school and just doing a lot of freelancing and volunteer work.
Okay. So I just want to get deeper into that part.
Okay.
The quitting phase, like I don't want to pursue this anymore, to going back here. And what was that moment where you finally decided, I am going to do an events company?
So one of my big motivation was that I already had knowledge and background in this industry and that I was really good at it. So an opportunity presented itself that someone else wanted to partner up with me back then to do this together, and then my former partner already had connections to this industry. So I thought to myself, I could always study, like I could study any time of my life and it's still the same curriculum, still the same college courses. But then to start a business, you need to be with the right people, the right timing, everything needs to be right. And yeah, that's mainly why I did it. And then I actually used my college funds from my parents, that the money they saved up their entire life, and to put it all into this risky business.
How did they react?
They were like terrified and like mad, upset, like all the emotions all together. And my family, they're really traditional. They're from here, Hong Kong, very traditional values and concepts. And at the beginning, they wanted to disown me. Like they were like ashamed of me and they didn't want to tell our relatives or our friends what I was doing. Like, oh, why is Leanne not in Paris? Why is she in Hong Kong? So they tried in a lot of efforts to hide me, and afterwards it was really because of my success in my business, and I started to get like recognitions, I started to land big clients, big deals, and they were like, okay, maybe what you're doing is legit. But sometimes they're still asking me, so what exactly are you doing? Why are you like partying all the time? Like, do you just party? Is that your job?
Networking, right?
Exactly. Like what we're doing right now.
Okay. So that time where they kind of didn't believe in you yet when you were just starting, of course, a lot of tension, right? How did you handle that? And at the same time, how long did it take you before you felt that, okay, this is up and running now, I'm actually getting the clients I want?
I think at the very beginning, it was so tough because all of my peers, the people I went to school with, they were still like studying university, they were abroad or just really busy with school. So I didn't really have friends in the working world. So I tried really hard to attend a lot of networking events just to try to like squeeze my way through in there and to try to meet people and to introduce myself. And I was in a really bad place emotionally for around 2 years. And one thing that really kept me going was like my clients, of course. Like sometimes I didn't also believe that I was doing a good job. I need someone else to affirm that, okay, you're doing a good job and you know what you're doing. So with that in mind, it was a lot of self-belief and disbelief as well. It's like, one second I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then the next is like, what am I doing? As an entrepreneur, I think a lot of people relate. It's just like a big emotional roller coaster. I knew that I made this decision myself and that I had to, at least do like my very best to see if it works out or not. Like if it doesn't work out, like I had in my mind that I can always go back to school. So I have tried my best and now here I am.
Okay. And in that process, right? How often did you feel like quitting?
Like almost like every other day, because in business, like you have deals and you have like people who reject you, you have things that fall through. So that happened on a regular basis. And whenever someone didn't pick me as their event planner, I would feel like, oh my God, is this like the time I should quit? Or when someone else just tried to discourage me or criticize my work, like I try really hard to see it as like, okay, I need to learn and stuff. But then deep down, I still had that feeling of like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing for like 2 years?
And now everything's much more smooth.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. And next question is, the most rewarding throughout your journey and the most tough moments that you can think of.
Okay.
That defined where you got to.
I think in my entrepreneur journey, one of the most rewarding moments was one of my clients. So this client, she found me on Instagram and I had to plan her husband's 60th birthday party. And she was just like an auntie, those like Chinese aunties that are just always telling you like, okay, you can do this. Like you're doing such a good job, like really affirming me along the way while planning for her. And we stayed friends afterwards and she would always, just be like a really big fan of mine. And I think having someone like that to see the value in your work and to recognize the hard work that you put in is really important. So I'm just really glad because I believe in law of attraction. So I believe that like my hard work attracted clients like this. So I was also really grateful for that. And I think one of the hardest thing, I think it pops in my head like just now, but it's when there was a client who didn't pay me for like 2 years. I don't know if you guys experienced this before.
It happens.
Yeah.
We used to work together, the video guy, and yeah, they don't pay.
Yeah, like it's just in that process of you did your work and someone didn't recognize it and didn't pay for your time and effort, and you had to chase, and it's like pushing yourself down, you know. It's almost like feeling like begging for money. You get what I mean? Yeah, and actually even till now, the client still hasn't paid in full amount yet, and I think that was like 2 years ago. So that was like, I've never experienced anything like this before back then, and I was just like, I would be crying because I had to pay my bills as well, and I was just so helpless, and also just emotionally, I didn't know how to connect with that person. I didn't know like how to make the situation better, and people were like, oh, like in Chinese it's like 𝒘𝒊𝒕𝒚, like oh, like you didn't protect yourself enough, or you didn't like get a large amount of deposit beforehand. So I was really blaming myself.
Well, what was your self-reflection on the opportunity of learning from this experience?
I mean, I hired a lawyer, like a law consultant. And also, I think it's just not to be so trusting in the business setting. Like, I think I really learned that to keep business and like friends separate, and even someone you know like personally, like to be a great friend, but sometimes they might not be the same way in business. So I think it's just a cautionary tale for me.
Okay. Cool. And next question is, what do you feel makes you unique in terms of your approach, comparing to competitors? This is not a boasting moment, it's just something that sets you apart. I guess it's how we treat our clients. Like it's not about the money really, because in the line of work that we do, we celebrate their moments. We celebrate like their weddings, their birthdays, their anniversary. It means a lot to them. And I know some other companies, they have like template events that is like they sell it in a package. And you know, if it's your wedding, you don't want it to be like other people's. So we tailor-made a lot. We get to know the customers beforehand. We really like communicate with them and try to figure out things that even they don't know they want before. Like we would just have like conversations and make them feel really comfortable to open up before we draft up a proposal to them. This is like before them paying us, because like I would just imagine myself if I'm planning, I'm getting married. I want the person, like I want to feel so comfortable. I want to feel like I can express myself freely, and then I'll feel comfortable paying the price, you know. Okay, and you mentioned about moments, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you focus on in terms of like life itself? Is it?
Are you asking me personally?
Yep.
I think every moment is worth celebrating. Like I love hosting like lunches, dinners, not super fancy ones, but you know, just try to gather with friends and to have a good time together. Because one of the reason I wanted to start this in Hong Kong is because I've lived here all my life and it's always been so busy. You know, you guys know what it's like. It's like depressing sometimes, and everyone's just working like a zombie. And then like Friday night, they go like clubbing, drinking, like spend all their money on alcohol, and then they feel bad for like the whole weekend, and then they go back to work. So I've seen that like in my like my family members, my peers, my whole life, and I just want to, you know, pause for a little bit and to really like treasure the moments and be like, okay, like yes, we do work, but then we also have these like great friends with us, and we can like celebrate, I guess, just like working hard, right?
True. Okay. Great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next is, besides your parents, right, not supporting, how was it like going through that unknown journey, journey, and at the same time, did you have a balance of supporters and people that didn't support, or was it imbalanced? So I leave that to you.
I think I think I learned this the hard way too. Like I didn't have a lot of friends when I was in high school or when I was in college. So I never knew that the world was so big, because I was always just, I thought there were just like this limited types of people and I didn't fit in, like normally. When I first started working, I was really trying to find my tribe. I mean, I watch a lot of sitcoms, so like when in the sitcoms, they're usually like a tight-knit friends. So I really wanted that for myself, and I just tried really hard to go to kind of like gatherings or like pottery classes, like painting classes, like things like that. It sounds really cliche, but then I try to like use those settings to meet people, and I do. Like I've met people who appreciates like my work and who supports me. So I think at the beginning it was really me supporting myself and be like, okay, like trusting the process that I will meet people who are like-minded, who supports me.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
So you had more support, right?
Now, yes.
Back then.
Back then was like, I was standing on my own.
But were there naysayers as well, or besides family? Okay.
Oh yeah, there was people I know in university who bet that I would fail. It's just like, because dropping off college is such a like unusual thing to do, and when you do something like that, I mean, there must be haters. There'll be people who don't agree with this type of, I guess, learning method. So they would always like talk behind my back or try to like make me feel bad about myself, or spread rumors like how I got like a sugar daddy. Like that was on like my Instagram comments for a while. So stuff like that happened. But I don't have a sugar daddy. So I work hard. I know I work hard, and that I was just really trying to believe in myself and support myself from within.
Okay, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in that position of like, things are not as they seem, as you want them to be.
Yes.
And you can see it, but you don't want to believe it anyway. And you still have this idea of what things should be.
Yes.
And you just kept thinking and focusing on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So I actually had this whole thing go really fast.
Okay.
I don't think we'll get to this part, but I think that's pretty much almost everything.
Okay, that's good to know.
And the last question
Yes.
is there anything that you're excited about that you would love to share that's upcoming next year or 2 years later?
Yeah, of course. So right now I'm really trying to focus on my podcast and my blog. So I guess after spending my time doing like luxury events, I really realized how do I say this? Like how people need joyous moments and positivity in their lives. So I started my podcast and my blog to, I say it like create daily doses of self-love. Just a little bit of positivity to infuse in your life to, when you're at lunchtime, like crowded in Central, and you scroll on Instagram and then you see this like positive post. I hope to be that post to people. And I'm gonna be creating a lot more content on self-care tips and topics like mental health, gender equality, something that I believe a lot in. And also, I will be creating some sort of like self-care products. So like candles, like things like that I personally love, just to also infuse a little bit of happiness in your daily lives.
Sounds interesting.
Thank you.
So this all for next year, or you're still planning it out?
Yeah, still planning it out. So blog is this year and product is next year.
Okay.
Yes.
So everybody will just keep track.
Yes.
And soon enough, it will slowly manifest to reality.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, once again, Leanne. Let me rephrase that, beautiful Leanne.
Thank you.
Hector, kinetic outcome, and pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Our aim is to provide value. So if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by Edry Mendoza. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at SCF Saint or Saint Crossfade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.